talk about one of the biggest heists in modern history. And it's a heist that happens every single night. I'm talking about the theft of your sleep. But more importantly, we're going to talk about how you can steal it back without spending a dime. And that person, it's not you, is it? It's not because you're broken or lazy. No, it's because a whole system, one built around factory shifts and artificial light, has quietly invaded and colonized one of the most fundamental biological processes you have. So let's get this straight from the jump. This is not a personal failing. It is a systemic problem. So this is the great sleep lie we're unpacking. This feeling of being constantly, deeply exhausted. It's not a character flaw. It's not a weakness. It is a manufactured problem with a very clear and, frankly, kind of infuriating history. You know, to really understand why we're so tired right now, we have to go back in time. It's kind of wild to think about, but before the 19th century, the whole idea of an 8-hour workday just didn't exist. If you worked in a factory, say, in Britain, you were governed by the owner's bell. And that meant everyone, including children as young as 6, was putting in these absolutely brutal 13 to 16-hour days. So where did our 8-hour day even come from? Well, you'd think it was about worker well-being, right? Nope, it was a business decision. It started as a radical idea from a guy named Robert Owen, but it took a full century for Henry Ford to actually put it into practice. And why did he do it? Because he figured out that a rested worker is a more productive worker. His profits literally doubled in 2 years. Then he introduced the 5-day week because he had another brilliant insight. People with free time spend money. All of a sudden, rest became good for the economy. And right here, this is where the central conflict of our story really begins. The system we created for industry went to war with the system that nature spent millions of years building inside of us. Just think about it. You've got these 2 clocks. On one side, there's the factory clock. It's mechanical, rigid, all about logistics and timetables. But on the other side, you've got your body clock. It's biological, ancient, and has been evolving for 500 million years. And these 2 clocks, they just don't speak the same language. They have been at war with each other ever since. Now, your biological rhythm, your body clock, is controlled by this tiny little structure in your brain. It's called the suprachiasmatic nucleus, or just SCN for short. Think of it as your master clock. It runs everything: your metabolism, your immune system, your mood, and of course, your sleep. And it doesn't run on discipline or alarms. It runs on light. Every single morning when sunlight hits your eyes, it sends a direct signal to the SCN that basically says, okay, time to reset the clock for the next 24 hours. So what happens when the factory clock wins a few battles and you lose some sleep? What are the consequences? Well, the cost is so much bigger than just feeling tired. See, your sleep isn't just one big block of time. You cycle through different stages. The first half of the night is all about deep NREM sleep. That's for physical repair, immune function, and literally washing your brain of toxins. But the final hours of the night, right before you wake up, that is rich in REM sleep. That's for emotional processing, consolidating memories, and sparking creativity. So when your alarm clock violently cuts your sleep short, you don't just lose a little bit of everything. No, you disproportionately amputate those final precious cycles of REM sleep. And that's the really insidious part of this whole thing. You don't feel the loss of your creative spark. You can't feel your emotional calibration being off. You can't sense the shape of what's been stolen from you. You just feel tired. So you reach for a coffee, you push through it, and you call it fine. This whole problem leads to a pretty wild question. What if insomnia isn't actually a modern disorder at all? For most of human history, people actually slept twice. A historian named Roger Eckertz found thousands of references in old texts to something called first sleep and second sleep. People would sleep for a few hours, wake up for a quiet hour or so around midnight, and then go back to sleep. This wasn't a problem. It was just normal. So what changed? Well, in 1882, Thomas Edison flipped the switch on his commercial electricity grid. Artificial light invaded the night. Our bedtimes got pushed later and later, but our morning alarms stayed put. And that natural, quiet interval between our 2 sleeps, it got completely squeezed out of existence. The medical world then promptly gave this new state of being a name: insomnia. We didn't get sick. Our environment changed, and we called the symptom a disease. And of course, whenever there's a problem, especially a manufactured one, an industry pops up to solve it. This industry didn't create our exhaustion, but it absolutely profits from it. Get ready for this number: $585 billion. That's with a B. That's the value of the global sleep economy today. That's bigger than the entire economy of most countries, all selling us solutions, apps, pills, trackers, smart mattresses, to a problem that was manufactured by the industrial schedule and supercharged by artificial light. Just take melatonin. Research from MIT shows that the effective dose is tiny, about zero point 0.3 milligrams. But what do companies sell you? They sell you 10 to 100 times that amount. This massive dose actually desensitizes your brain's receptors, which means you need more and more of the product to get less and less of an effect. It's essentially a subscription model engineered inside your own brain. Or how about sleep trackers? They've actually given rise to a brand new condition called orthosomnia. That's where the anxiety you get from obsessing over your sleep score actually makes your sleep worse. The tool that was meant to help you becomes part of the problem. You really can't make this stuff up. So, if this billion-dollar industry isn't the answer, what is? Well, let's look at the simple, evidence-based, and completely free solutions that actually work with your biology, not against it. All right, here's your free toolkit. First, get 10 to 15 minutes of morning sun outside. It's the reset button for your internal clock. Second, keep a fixed wake-up time, even on weekends, to anchor your rhythm. If you need a boost, try a 20-minute nap. NASA proved it improves performance by 34%. Keep your bedroom cool, around 65 degrees, set a caffeine curfew for 2 p.m., and limit alcohol. It might sedate you, but it absolutely steals your precious REM sleep. Not a single one of these costs a thing. And this brings us to the final and maybe the most important shift in thinking. We have to stop seeing rest as laziness. Rest isn't the enemy of performance. Rest is a superpower. The whole argument that more hours equals more output is a complete myth. I mean, look at this. Workers in Germany put in almost 800 fewer hours a year than workers in Mexico, yet they generate nearly 4 times the economic output per hour. Productivity isn't about endurance, it's about effectiveness, and effectiveness requires rest. The world's most exceptional performers already know this. Jeff Bezos prioritizes 8 hours of sleep for high-quality decision-making. LeBron James calls his 12 hours of sleep his most important performance tool. Roger Federer sleeps 11 to 12 hours, saying, "If I don't have that, I hurt myself." They didn't rest after they succeeded. They rested in order to succeed. So the next time your boss, or just our culture, makes you feel guilty for resting, I want you to remember exactly what's happening. You are being pressured to ignore your own biology to conform to an outdated schedule, a schedule that was literally designed for child laborers in the 19th century. You are not a machine. You are a biological organism. That afternoon nap, that early bedtime, that's not weakness. It's the most powerful, evidence-based performance tool we have. It is the oldest, smartest productivity tool in human history. And the absolute best part? No one can sell it to you because you already own it.